it smells like tea. And it's because it's actually made from tea. Like the residue, like the waste from tea production goes into this material. So that's a favorite for sure.
Lui, c'est Felix von Bader, le cofondateur de la marque Deadwood, quelques heures avant son défilé à la Fashion Week de Copenhague. C'est la 3e fois que cette marque suédoise participe, et ce n'est pas pour rien. Depuis 2023, cette Fashion Week a mis en place des critères minimums que les marques doivent remplir pour participer. Objectif, encourager une mode plus durable. C'est une première en Europe. Elle a depuis été suivie par la Fashion Week de Berlin et récemment par celle de Londres. Cette initiative a été saluée par beaucoup, critiquée par d'autres. Alors, est-ce une campagne de communication réussie ou ces nouveaux standards pourraient-ils révolutionner l'industrie de la mode? Faudrait-il aller encore plus loin? On est allé sur place pour comprendre.
At the moment, we're just doing some last-minute changes and upcycling to some of the styling pieces.
Our thing from the beginning has been to use waste materials, basically. Sometimes it can just be like dead stock fabrics that we find in small quantities, and we make use of that. For most of our leather, it's upcycled from offcuts and waste from the furniture and the garment industry. Some pieces are like upcycled vintage garments. I mean, this, for example, basically old jeans put together in a new way. So we just try to use whatever is out there to create their collections. There have been pretty high standards in terms of sustainability coming from Copenhaga Fashion Week for all the 3 shows, which is cool for us. I mean, it's sort of the sustainability aspect is embedded in our DNA, so the standards are high, and I think a lot of brands are struggling to meet them, which is good. So for now, I think it's a good level. But I mean, we as brands, we can always do better. No brand is zero polluting, or no brand is perfect in any sense.
Ok, c'est le moment de faire un point sur ces fameux standards qui viennent d'être révisés. Certaines consignes sont très claires. Déjà, il y a une liste de matériaux à favoriser. Ça peut être des tissus de seconde main, des stocks dormants ou encore du coton bio ou du polyester recyclé. Ils doivent représenter 60% de la collection. Les packagings des marques doivent exclure le plastique à usage unique. Et la fourrure vierge, les plumes et toutes les peaux d'animaux sauvages sont strictement interdites. D'autres standards, au contraire, sont un peu plus flous. Les marques doivent réduire les déchets et les émissions de leurs défilés. On leur demande aussi de créer des produits de qualité et d'informer les consommateurs sur l'importance de la longévité, peu importe ce que ça veut dire. Enfin, certains sont simplement alignés avec les réglementations européennes, comme l'interdiction de détruire les invendus. Alors, est-ce que les fashionistas qui ont fait le déplacement à Copenhague ont entendu parler de tout ça?
No. I'm not going to pretend I know everything, because that has always bit me in the arse.
Ça fait maintenant 3 ans que je la fais. Et justement, c'est pour toutes ces valeurs-là que j'aime bien y venir.
It's very nice that Copenhagen Fashion Week is that one, but it's really talking about it. I'm participating every year, in different fashion week, and for example, in Milan Fashion Week, in Paris Fashion Week, or in New York Fashion Week. No one talks about that. No one cares.
Bon, la Fashion Week de Copenhague serait donc à la pointe, la plus écolo d'Europe même. On a eu un petit doute en voyant le principal sponsor de l'événement, Zalando, un site de revente qui a été épinglé par la Commission européenne pour greenwashing et dont l'empreinte carbone en 2021 était 2 fois plus importante que celle de l'Islande. Et on n'est pas les seuls à l'avoir remarqué, en cherchant un peu sur internet, on est vite tombé sur plusieurs critiques. Il y a par exemple cette activiste et youtubeuse danoise, Gitte-Marie Johansson, qui a posté une vidéo à charge l'année dernière. Ses critiques? Zalando, bien sûr.
Maybe these minimal standards are for small brands and not big collaborators.
Mais pas que.
The problem is with those requirements is that they have nothing to do with sustainability, and they also really have nothing to do with requirements. they're very soft and they often end up being almost optional. So we have a lot of lingo that's very vague and that doesn't really invite further proof or evidence or data-backed evidence overall. We even have the data that shows that, well, these things aren't actually making a difference. Like there isn't a lot of carbon-related benefit in changing the material.
Enfin, ces standards minimums ne s'appliquent pas à toutes les marques présentes à la Fashion Week, mais seulement à celles qui souhaitent organiser un défilé ou autre événement officiel. Bref, tout n'est pas tout rose, enfin vert. Et on a voulu en parler directement avec la directrice en charge du développement durable de la Fashion Week.
You will always find critics that will find our work, no matter what we do, not enough and not sustainable at all. Zalando has been now a really long-term partner of Fashion Week. Of course, I think as with all bigger organizations, they are usually also the first ones to be attacked when it comes to sustainability due to their size. Whereas a lot of times they also sit with actually a lot of expertise in-house.
On a aussi voulu savoir comment la Fashion Week a choisi ces critères et ce qu'ils répondent aux critiques sur leur manque d'ambition.
So what we wanted to do is to be very holistic about it, because we know that we are not that in-depth kind of organization that can go super deep in one topic, but we work with brands really across the field, so many different sizes and setups and so on. So it was really important that the framework allows for a certain flexibility on how brands work with sustainability. What we also really want to communicate is that the minimum standards, who are the admission criteria, they are called that for a reason. So they are not called super ambitious sustainability agenda or anything. Definitely they do not mean that once a brand lives up to those, they can go out and say we are super sustainable and we do everything right. That is definitely not what we want to achieve with them, but we want to have kind of a common language and a common ground that you know, okay, when I go to Fashion Week as an attendee, for instance, you know that the brands have a certain level.
Alors, Guite-Marie, convaincue?
So my criticisms still seem to stand. I think we need to be able to demand more and not just be grateful that someone is doing something, because what they're currently doing just isn't helping the way that they're saying it is. But I think one of the problems is here that we want to be sustainable, but we don't want to change. And that simply is not going to work together. Even though you are trying to be conscious of materials and responsibility, all really vague stuff, if you still produce a lot of new collections focusing on trends and more like short-sighted ways of expressing fashion, I think that is the root of the problem. I think we need to focus on style and less on fashion, because fashion ultimately, as we see it now as the system is built up, is business models that's based on overconsumption, that thrives in the idea that something is always new and in style, and inherently that means that something has to be out of style. It means that consumers can never catch a break, and a lot of these businesses are built to make us feel worse about ourselves, to let us know that the sunglasses or the hat or the shoes or the bags that we bought last year are now not cool anymore. Why are they not cool anymore?
L'industrie textile est responsable de 10% des émissions de gaz à effet de serre au niveau mondial, d'après les Nations Unies. C'est plus que le transport aérien et maritime. Et malgré leur image écolo, les pays nordiques ne font pas mieux que les autres. En moyenne, une personne du nord de l'Europe achète entre 26 et 48 vêtements chaque année et se débarrasse de 11 kg de textile par an. Seulement 1% est recyclé. Justement, au Danemark, l'ONG Fashion Revolution organise des workshops sur l'upcycling pour redonner une seconde vie aux vêtements donnés ou jetés car passés de mode.
We could use some of these, maybe?
This is also purple.
Purple.
It's perfect.
So you can put like this.
Maybe it
You
sounds
see?
good. Yeah.
Elle, c'est Nazarena Pelleriti. Après avoir travaillé dans la mode haute couture en Argentine, où elle passait des heures à travailler sur un vêtement pour qu'il ne soit porté qu'une seule fois, elle a décidé de venir vivre ici, à Copenhague.
In a way, Copenhagen has the biggest marketing for being sustainable, right? So I thought there's where I have to be. And I just hoped that the city would answer my questions. Did it? Yes, and it also brought a lot of other questions because Denmark has a lot of initiatives towards responsibility, transitioning, sustainability, but the problem is that because it's a very well-functioning society and they have very high salaries and a lot of disposable income, then they also consume a lot. So it's contradictory in the way that people use a lot, dispose a lot, but they at the same time care a lot for things. So you have both sides.
Pour s'attaquer au problème à la racine, il y a un autre acteur de poids qui peut intervenir, l'Union européenne. À partir de 2030, dans le cadre du Pacte vert, elle devrait mettre en place sa stratégie pour des textiles durables et circulaires. Objectif, que tous les vêtements vendus sur le marché européen soient durables, réparables et recyclables. Mais aussi améliorer la compétitivité des entreprises. Finalement, c'est un peu comme la Fashion Week. Bref, on ne renverse pas encore la table.